100 days ago, I decided that I would learn how to program games. I started with zero experiences, and in this video I'm gonna show you what I have learned in 100 days of game development. Since I was a game development noob, I had to start with the basics. So I downloaded Unity, I downloaded Visual Studio. Those two seemed like good tools, but also seemed like they weren't too hard to get into. And then I had to search for a YouTube video online because we all know that this is how to learn stuff. And I found Brackeys. Brackeys is an awesome channel for any game dev beginner because they go through step by step what you want to learn. And I had to familiarize myself with this crazy ass Unity engine. So I followed Brackeys, and after 3 days I actually built this insane endless runner. Which was not endless. I legit kind of realized, yo, game development is gonna be harder than I think. And at that point I kind of stopped. I didn't look at game development again for 4 years, and I decided to drop game development back then. And now actually, 3 months ago, I re-picked up game development again, certain that I would crush it. And then I found a YouTube video of a guy who would teach a simple 2D jump and run game. And it was kind of fun because I knew, hey, I can really do this if I stay at it. So I kind of followed this tutorial, and I kind of wanted to try myself if I could make stuff move. And so I tried to do like a little 2D game myself. And at that point I also got to know GPT, and I was like, oh, GPT is so nice. And I tried to use it to build my own game. And it gave me some good tips, but at that point I was not good enough yet to actually use GPT's tips and build them into my own game. But what was very nice was all of this weird stuff around coding. You have these weird lines at the top, like using Unity engine, public class and mono behavior. I kind of knew you need to program stuff inside, but I didn't know what all of this weird stuff meant. I actually used GPT to ask all of that, and I was like, hey yo, what the heck are these lines at the top? Hey yo, what the heck is this line here? Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. And after some time, I actually learned kind of the background of how programming works, because GPT was like a personal tutor to explain all of this to me. So I was learning Chinese and low-key French a little bit as well. And what I learned from learning languages was that you want to get the 1000 most used words and then kind of study those. You will be able to understand more than 80% of the spoken language, because there's like certain words that we use way more often than others. I thought, hey, why not do the same with programming? I need like a list of methods and words and vocabulary that are the most used, and then I just want to learn those and then I can program, right? But there was not really much videos on that on YouTube. There was like one video, but like most stuff was more tedious to get into, really unsexy pages of just code and text, and you have to read through all of that. So I found this one video actually on YouTube by Blackthorn Prod, and they only unfortunately show the 9 most important lines of code. Nevertheless, the Blackthorn Prod GameDev channel, they actually have some really amazing videos that motivated me. Then I actually purchased one of their courses. I spent 37 bucks on their GameDev Rocket launcher, and it helped me a lot. Like whenever I felt like I want to learn code, I just sit down and turn on the course and I watch the next video. So this is around week 3, week 4. I did my first game, and that was actually pretty fun. I think I spent so much time on this one game, actually too much time. I just showed it to friends, they would give me feedback. For example, the chainsaw, and it was super fun to add, but it was such a big process because the game was getting so out of hand, and as a beginner it was just a bit overwhelming. So I really recommend that if you start out, you don't use too much time on your first, second or third game, and then when you're at a point where like, oh okay, I know how to make clean code, or at least more clean code, then you make like maybe a bigger game. After this course, I was pretty much able to program very simple stuff on my own, and that was a really cool time because I could throw ideas at GPT and he would give me answers that I could then implement into my game. And in that period, I think I learned a lot. In week 9, I decided that I would actually double down and buy the big course from Blackthorn Prod. And I know I sound a bit like an asshole if I say that now. I actually spent $400 on that course. And actually the first few games that I did in the course were too simple for me, but it was just still nice to go through the process once again. For example, we did a 3D endless runner. I did like a little city builder game, which was just the framework. It was not actually a finished game, but still nice to learn the practices. I then did a 3D version of Circular Mayham. That was really cool because I really wanted to know how you could make like a little planet and then rotate it below the player. Very simple stuff, but you need to have done it once in order to know what is going on. So we are in week 10 right now, and I think that was also the point where I started this YouTube channel. So first of all, subscribe. It would be awesome if I have your support. And that was also the point where all of this became really a lot, like editing the videos. So many hours get lost in this process. It's insane. But enough searching around. We only have 30 days left. So I tried to make a 3D player controller and I absolutely failed. It was really tough to get a handle on the camera movement. So I first decided that I would double down on making a mobile game because I also wanted to learn how to do that. And I did make a video on how I did that, but the video kind of flopped. Not many people watched that one. But after that video, I gave programming a 3D player character a second chance. And this time it actually worked. I was so happy when I did it because I found this amazing dude on YouTube. He's called GameDevelopment. He did a few very great tutorials on how to do a player character movement in 3D. So that was really, really cool to do, and I really was proud of that. So yeah, I learned 2D games, I started with 3D games, and I really started to get a handle on how to do programming in games. So I thought, why not challenge myself and try to make a 3D game with animation and all of that I would put into a game jam. So I sat down and joined my first game jam, and the theme that was announced was always changing. And in my mind, I thought I'm gonna make a 3D jump and run game, and I'm gonna change the colors of the floors, and I'm gonna say the player would have to change his colors in order to match the colors of the floor. If you wanna check that out in more detail, you can watch my last video where I took you through the process of how I made this jump and run rhythm game. And at this point, I wanna say, if you wanna start game dev or you are a game developer, I really believe that you can become very, very great at it if you just spend every day or every other day a little bit. So really consider what it is that you might want to add in your life and go for it, because I think you can really get that. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the other videos and please subscribe and like, because it would help me out a lot. Thank you so much and peace.